Depending on who you ask, they'll tell you I'm a legend. From YO to the Veil to the Mongo spot on Creston. Always been 1,000, never ever been a lame. Lay a nigga down for these 3 letters on my chain.
Yo, what's shaking with it, y'all? You already know how it's going down, man. This is your dog, your G, your boy, J Hood and all that. And I'm right back at y'all with another episode of the Tales from the Hood vlog series, man. Make sure you go stream and download my brand new album entitled Self. And while you at it, snatch up the Pesci Trilogy 1 through 3 and grab up that Best of Hood flashbacks from the block, all right? Look, let's get into it. On this episode, we're going to speak about the time that I banned Big Mike from Yonkers for a week, right? That shit was funny as hell. All right, so I had found out, first of all, before I even get into that, off these different mixtapes that we was dropping with Big Mike, I wasn't getting paid nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and we like literally got Big Mike hot. You feel me? By giving Big Mike all of our exclusives. Like, he had all D-Block's exclusive. Anytime we drop a freestyle, we'd give it to him first. You know, we did whole tapes with him and shit like that. Before we started doing that shit with him, like, you know, he had a little name and shit, but his name like grew and spread like wildfire once niggas knew that he was an official D-Block DJ, right? So, you know, Luce was doing tapes with him, solo joints, P was doing solo tapes with him, Kiss was doing solo tapes with him, and I was doing my solo tapes with him, right? Now, I don't know if Kiss and P was getting anything from him, but I had found out that Luce was getting money from him from doing the tapes with him. So I'm like, yo, dude, how the fuck, you know, motherfuckers is getting bread and you ain't piecing me off? And I found out how much money this nigga Big Mike was making off these tapes. And it was like in, you know, I ain't pocket watching niggas and no shit like that, but he was, you know, making a couple 100,000 off mixtapes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Drama was making what he was making and Big Mike was making what he was making. I found that out. I'm like, this nigga making all this cake and I'm over here having financial issues and shit like that, and I'm just giving this nigga music and he making all his money off my mixtapes. You know what I mean? He done did like 3-4 mixtapes on me, period. So I know he done got cake off these shits. And they ain't pieced me off nothing. This nigga just give me a box or 2 of mixtapes and just have me distribute them myself and make whatever I can make off of them instead of piecing me off. I'm like, this nigga can't be serious. So I forgot exactly when this took place, but as soon as I found that out, I felt a certain way. And I straight up told this nigga, I'm like, yo, dog, I ain't gonna lie to you. Nigga, don't let me and my niggas catch you on Yonkers, my nigga. I'm not gonna lie, like, straight up. And he knew I was serious about it, and he really took heed to that. And I'm not saying that he was, like, that afraid of me. He was more so, more worried about the niggas that I hung around, you feel me? Because, you know, this is the thing I explain to you niggas like this. I'll explain to y'all this briefly, and I'm gonna get into it in another episode. But the niggas that I was around, you know, they end up getting wrapped up in a sweep, you know, right around, like right before the time that I got into it with the bros and shit like that, before the so-called beef took place and shit like that. So these niggas were serious and niggas knew what type of time they was on, right? So these niggas, the nigga Big Mike knew the niggas that I was running around with, and he knew that niggas was about that. So that nigga took me like real serious when I said that shit. So serious that he ended up calling the nigga Luch and calling my old manager like, yo, man, yo, talk to this nigga Hood, man. This nigga talking about I can't come to Yonkers and shit like that, da-da-da-da. So they laughing at the nigga. They like, yo, man, just chill. You go holler at the nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? The nigga, my manager hit me. He like, yo, why you call that nigga Mike on that shit? I'm like, nah, man, this nigga gonna start piecing niggas off. He ain't about to be getting that bread and not breaking niggas off and all that. Like, nah, man. I'm like, nah, this nigga Luch getting money from him. Nah, he gotta break bread with me too. Fuck all that. And the shit died down. We ended up letting the nigga be and shit like that. But I always thought that was funny. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew what time it was. Nigga was about to be on that nigga ass. You know, no more. He cool and all that now. Like, he straight. But that nigga knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? He'd tell you straight up. Like, nah, that nigga really did call me on that shit. And I was dead serious. You feel me? So, like I said, I get into who my niggas was on a later episode and all that shit, but niggas knew what time it was. You know what I mean? If you're familiar with Yonkers, I'm talking about, you know, my Jackson Street niggas. I used to roll with Jackson heavy. You know what I'm saying? So you already know what time it is. So like always, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Until next time,